Okay, hello everyone. This is Stoneforge here. I'm going to be on my character Ulrich, who's a barbarian, kind of an endgame barbarian. And this video is just going to show basically how I speed farm, essentially Act 3 Inferno. Um, there seems to be a lot of interest in speed farming right now, so especially for guys who get past the end of the game. Um, and I'll just kind of show my strategy for it. I think it seems to work pretty well here. You guys might be interested in that. So the purpose of this video is just to show you guys what I've been doing. It seems to be working really well. I can pretty well get through Act 3 in probably an hour or two, just picking off all the elites. And I'll show you how I do that. So basically the way this video is going to be formatted is first I'll show you how I get started in terms of character build, and then I'll go through and show you sort of the strategy I've been using to get through Act 3. And then finally, at the end, I'll show you my gear. And the reason for that is because, well, obviously, you do have to have kind of endgame gear to do exactly the same thing that I'm doing. And again, this is designed for a barbarian. I do not know if it works for a monk. It may work for a monk. However, for wizard, demon hunter, and witch doctor, sorry you guys, I just don't think there's any way you can do this. Okay, so I will also be heavily editing this video. I know I've seen videos out there where people have 50 minutes of a boss fight. Nobody wants to see that. So let's go ahead and get started then. First of all, the reason I'm choosing Act 3. Okay, well, obviously, yeah, I've completed the game multiple times, very easily. I can go through Act 4, I can kill Diablo, no problem. But the reason I'm doing Act 3 is because, guess what, the magic find, or the drop rate for 63s is the same as it is in Act 4, because all of the elites and all the champions are, I guess, level 63, which means they can drop all of the same items. The problem is Act 4 is just too short, and it's a little bit more difficult. So let's make it easier on ourselves. I actually select the quest here, Kill Azmodan. The reason we do that is it just gives us a quick way to get to Azmodan, because once you have a 5-stack, you can just run through all the levels. You don't want to be doing quests. I was the guy who previously I would go through and I would do every single quest and cover every single square inch of an act. And that worked pretty well, but it took a lot of time. It was a full day just to do an act like that. So we're just going to go to the very end. We're going to skip all the nonsense, because the whole purpose of speed farming is to get as much gold or as much money as you can. And we're not going to waste our time on things that don't get us as much gold as other things. And the other things being elites and champions. And that is all I focus on in farming here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and select that and get into the game now. Okay, here we are on the game. As you can see, I use the Enchantress first of all. So let's just take a look at her really quick. Basically, I stacked intel on her. We've got intel attack speed. Oh, that one doesn't have it. We have intel there, intel attack speed, and a nice, decent staff with a lot of intel. She's actually doing a decent amount of damage here, about 3.8k. And in terms of her stats that I use, we do want to charm an enemy. What I found is enemies can one-shot each other. And so she's actually gonna kill enemies this way, which is a nice feature. Buff herself, okay, you get a nice little armor buff there. That's great for a tank. Erosion. Now this one, you can choose confusion or erosion, but what I've found is that confusion is actually anytime she stuns somebody, you get certain types of mobs that they have bugs, and basically if they don't get stunned, they just stand there. They don't even attack you with their specials. So you really don't want to stun any mobs too much. So we just go ahead and use this pool of energy. It does a decent amount of damage sometimes. And then finally, of course, we want attack speed buff. Okay. So let's go in to see my character here first of all. This is just pretty much a standard tanking spec, and of course you have to set up your, what is it called here? Go into gameplay. Set up your elective mode, and then, of course, you want to, after you finish your elective mode, uncheck that so you don't accidentally pull stuff off your bar. That's happened to me numerous times. You will lose your Nephilim stack if you do that. It's very, very annoying. Okay, but with the elective mode on, what we select is, of course, Frenzy. Most people use Sidearm. That way you can do a little bit of range damage, also damage to multiple guys. Don't want to go through this too slowly here because it's pretty standard. Revenge, obviously, you need that health and provocation so it procs faster. Here's one that I haven't seen anybody using, and this is the whole, this is the basis for the speed farming, is we need sprint. Okay, so instead of using ground stomp or something like that, I use sprint, and then we do marathon, so we actually get a couple extra seconds out of this. Okay. And then, of course, ignore pain is a good one. Now, a lot of people will use, I believe it's Ironhide here, which increases the duration. If you get to the point where you don't need that extra 2 seconds, I actually like this Contempt for the Weakness. That does reflect 50% of ignored damage. And the reason for this is that when you're fighting elites, you might be standing in 2 or 3 Desecrators, you might be standing in Plagued, and you might be standing in Molten all at the same time. And if you reflect that damage, it actually does quite a bit. And it's just fun, too. Especially standing and face tanking Gom, and then, you know, he's got all of his poison clouds, and you reflect that back to him. Just a nice little, well, try and keep my language in check here. Finally, we got Warcry, and of course you have to have definitely impunity. You want to increase your resistances. Standard. Wrath of the Berserker. This is fantastic for certain elite mobs because you will not get feared, and you can't get frozen. You can't get knocked back. So it's really just great to have this as a backup, and it also does a decent amount of damage. And of course, we want to select. Apparently, I had no runes selected. Wow. For the longest time, I had not realized that. Well, we want to increase our damage, obviously. Okay, well, I guess I'm set up. These are all standard tanking passives. Increase armor more, and then finally reduce non-physical damage. I have tried changing these around before. I have tried, I can do more DPS maybe, but it's just not worth it, especially for this speed farming. Okay, so I think that's it. We can go ahead and get started here. What I'll usually do is just pop over to Stoneforge and work my way backwards there. I always use the checkpoints as much as I can.
We can turn back the tide of demons. It's hopeless.
That way you will reduce the amount of time it's going to take. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do here is essentially I am going to sprint through this map, and I'm going to find the elites, and I'm going to kill the elites, and just do that. The only 2 reasons why you will be killing normal mobs are, number 1, they're in your way, and number 2, they're basically your fuel. They give you fury so that you can start using your sprint again, okay? And the only other way we get fury is, of course, our war cry, so I can use this right at the bat, and whenever it comes back, to give myself that extra little boost when I'm running, okay? Again, I'm not going to pick up any barrels, any crates, any dead bodies. It's just a waste of time. It really, it's not worth it compared to what you can get from the elites. The only things that I will be picking here are the chests, both the regular chests and the replenishment chests. And here we go. So first I like to start off and just build up a bit of fury. Actually, a great way to do this in Act 3 is see these burning fuels. You just stand in those, and you'll get a nice little quick boost of fury. So it's all about just regenerating and refueling your fury. And again, like I said, we're going to take whatever chest, because they have a nice bit of gold. They might be useful just for repairing your items. If I get something, a little bit of gold that's above 200, I'll go ahead and take that. But otherwise, I just run past it. Okay, just to show you guys, sprinting through the map here. Occasionally you get to these points where you just get stuck. There's just too many guys in your way. So, pretty easy, just backtrack, or you can actually pull the guys out of the way and then just run past them. Really easy to do. If you got one guy, there are certain guys that kind of block you, like those these hounds over here. Apparently they're just made of big pieces of meat because you just can't get past. Otherwise, you can kind of fight your way through everything. Alright. Hopefully I can get out of this little tiny mob here. Kind of built up quite a few. But it is a lot easier if you can find your way through and just keep moving on. Okay. Now, obviously, as you can tell, I'm not on the greatest computer here. Got a bit of lag, but hopefully we'll be able to work through that. Okay. Got our Fury up, got past all those guys. A lot of lag while this is, game lag while this is recording, so I hope you guys don't mind that too much. You'll get the point, though. Okay, and here we are, actually at the first group. What do we got here? Obviously Molten, Vampiric, and Reflect Damage. These guys are relatively easy. Just pop all our cooldowns and stand here. Now these guys, I don't have to worry too much about the minions because, you know, the minions aren't really doing too much to me. If you've got a case where the minions have Frozen, or Arcane, or Nightmarish, well, obviously you want to take out those minions first because there's 3 minions with Nightmarish, that's, and I kill one of them, we're down to about 33% reduction in the amount of time that I'm spending feared. So I'm really not worrying too much about these guys. Basically just trying to get the stack up. Now my DPS right now, actually with the Enchantress, even with full tank spec, it's about 15.5k. That's actually not too bad. And you could say, whoa, well, that's pretty low. You know, my mage could just blast through these guys, but at the same time, you'll see how quickly we go from one champion and elite group to another, and then you'll rethink that. Okay, so really easy group right there. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to hold on to everything, and then once I have a full inventory, we'll have a little bit of fun, and I can show you guys identifying all of them and see what we get. Okay, so we'll just move on here now. We got full Fury after that, and find the next group. If I try and go upstairs, I don't want to go up too far just because I don't want to get blocked in. The whole point of this is making it fast. Okay, some more Fury there. And boy, there's a lot of lag. Okay. Usually I don't skip areas, but some areas like the up there where you light the signal fires, I don't think elites actually spawn up there. I could be wrong about that. But generally we just kind of run past. Because those are kind of tight quarters, you can tend to get locked in pretty well if you're not careful. Hopefully there's something up here, because we're coming to the end. Nope. And I'm really trying to, you know, if I lose health a little bit too much, well, you know, all you barbarians know, you just use your, what is it, Revenge. Get your health back pretty quickly there, as you can see. And when I'm running, I'm really trying to manage my Fury as well. Obviously, with Marathon, you can hit it multiple times and you can waste your Fury because it's still procced. So what I'm trying to do is kind of watch and get a feel for at what point do I need to hit it again. And also, always save your Warcry for the very end, because obviously your Fury is degenerating the entire time, and so you don't want to just be wasting it by using your Warcry when you don't need to. Okay, so looks like we got through pretty much that entire map there. I skipped a few little areas. It really didn't look like there was anything else there, so what you can do here. And this is always a little bit tricky part when you get to the edge and you actually do have to kill these guys. So we'll just go back and we'll use that waypoint to Stoneforge again and go the other direction. Okay, so now we're at Stoneforge, second level here. Again, I'm not going to go through everything. If there's a specific fight, I might show it, just kind of how I handle it, because they can be tricky at times. And here you see again, we get stuck in a position where well, some guys you just can't get past, so get them out of the way, get some fury while you're at it. And start the marathon. Okay, so it looks like we hit the next mob here. Looks like I'm about 3 to 4 minutes in between right now. That's actually a little bit slower than usual. It could just be making the video here, or it could be that, sometimes you don't get lucky. But this is obviously a minion here, so go ahead and take him out. Looks like another easy batch here. Got lucky. And question is just where are the rest of them? There they are. Some types of guys here, and these aren't the type. But say we do have Nightmarish. What you'll want to do in that case, just to reduce your time, is get yourself over into the corner and let the guys just pile up on you. If you get feared, well, you just sit there. You don't have to worry about running back to them. But the other nice thing about this build is that having the marathon, say you have some ranged guys that run away from you, that have Nightmarish, and this happens quite often. You know what, Barbarians, is extremely annoying. Okay, well, when you have that marathon, you can run right back to them, and you'll be able to do a lot more damage in a lot less time. The other great thing about marathon that I should have mentioned at the beginning, and again, because I don't see many people using it, is that when you're in a group with minions that have Arcane and Desecrator, you really need to, on occasion, be able to move out of the way quickly. And Marathon really lets you kind of dodge all that damage that a lot of other guys would just have to stand there and take. So it really is a lifesaver in battle. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, and this guy is going to go down here. And, well, we're not getting too much yet because we don't have our stack up, but eventually we will be able to get some stuff. A nice little shrine there I missed. So I should note that right now my character has essentially 0 magic find on him. He doesn't have any added bonus magic find. I've seen people, and I've actually tried magic find out, and the way I've done that is I've had a friend come in, and I purchased for him a full magic find set, which brought him up to about 300 magic find. As you can see, we're at the next guy here. And essentially, the way Magic Find works is that it's shared between players, and so when I had him in there, I was essentially receiving 160 Magic Find. But what it turned out was that, I really didn't get much more in the way of 61 through 63 items than what I'm getting this way. And of course, it's so much faster, not having the doubled or nearly doubled health on all of the monsters. So I just haven't found Magic Find to be the way to go. Now, it is possible to get good gear that has, strength, vitality, and resist all with Magic Find. I was never able to afford it. I was able to afford some very good endgame gear, and I'll tell you about that at the very end. But I haven't seen. The point being, I haven't seen much of a difference just from my experience, and that's what I hear other people say. However, Magic Find is valued pretty highly at the auction house, so you can at least make a little bit of money off of it. And here you can see, well, just barely, this is kind of the situation where I start to use my reflect damage. Here I am standing in 2 Desecrators, and that will do a lot of damage back to the guys. So it's a very useful trait, I think, if you can afford to use it. And we got those guys down. So pretty quick here. We got a Desolator Wand, as you know, that's a level 63, or if you don't know. So there's a good chance, small chance it could be good. I wouldn't say a good chance. And the other thing about Magic Find, and the reason it's not as great as people seem to make it out to be, is that it has no control whatsoever on the actual stats on an item. So even if you do get those 63 drops, well, not necessarily going to get anything good. And 99% of the time, you don't get anything good. But like I said, the reason for this speed farming is that 1% of the time you can get, maybe less than 1%, but you can get an item that might sell for 10 million, 100 million, even 300 million at the auction house. That may sound crazy, but I'll tell you about how I managed that at the end. And you can see that, oh, here we are again. Another elite here. This one will be a little bit more tricky, so I guess I'll keep recording here. But as you can see, we're about 1 to 2 minutes in between the elites. Have you ever farmed that quickly? I highly doubt it, unless you are using the same method, and I don't know anybody else at this point who is. Okay, so these guys are really easy. Actually, the trick with these type of guys that run away from you is, you focus a lot of your time trying to corner them. Make sure you have the right one too when they're an illusionist. So try and corner them as best as you can. That way you're not wasting the time. As you can see, that marathon is coming in handy again because I run right back to him. Right now, I got him nicely cornered up here. At least one of them. Here's the reflect damage. You can see all that white. They're all getting hit by reflect damage right now, which is just a beautiful thing. I love it. Okay. We'll run back down and we'll try and corral him up here again. Now, the illusionists, like this guy, what you can do is, normally what I do as a barbarian, you hold the shift key so you don't move around too much. What you can do if you don't hold the shift key, and you just click on the guy, when all of his little minions appear, the fake ones, you will actually still focus on him, which is the nice thing. So that's a little strategy just for those type of guys that have illusionist on them. Okay, so we picked up a few more items there. Sometimes you accidentally pick up some junk. And we'll be moving on here. So that was a good, 1 minute between guys. Not too bad. Okay, so it looks like we cleared that out. That last guy that you saw was the last one in that level, at least the one that I found. So I just start moving on here. Start going down into the dungeons here. And we should be able to find some guys pretty quickly down in here because it's a nice confined area. Again, here when you get a big group, basically you just think about these normal guys, normal mobs, just as sort of fuel. To keep me going nice and fast, right? So we fuel up here, and then we can just, pick up. There's a little bit of gold. Pick that up. Try and run past them. Don't waste your time getting caught up in those guys. And hopefully we'll find another champion pack around here somewhere. See, moving nice and quick through here. I do try and cover all the bases. The nice thing is that when you leave those guys behind like that, if you need to go back, if you need to run around the map and go back, you know how annoying that can be. Well, all you have to do is hit those guys a few times again, you build up your fury, and you start running like mad back to the area that you missed. Okay? These guys, again, look, I'm getting kind of lucky here. These guys are all pretty easy. Reflect damage, again, is nice here. And I'll just take a break and get back to you when... Okay, I missed the kill shot there. But as we can see again, we got a 5 stack now. I would give a generous estimate of about maybe maximum 20 minutes to get that 5 stack here. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower. Usually it's faster because I'm not making a video. And as you can see how quick this is. What was that? A good 20 seconds in between. So we'll go ahead and kill these guys. Now these guys have Desecrator again. So I'll show you that not many people can stand in too much of this. Even I can't. Okay, see, I'm going down there. So we reflect damage, and there you see all that nice little damage going straight back to him. Okay, and I do get hurt on occasion. Have to pick up the health globes, especially when I'm not paying attention. When I'm doing a run through the act, I tend to die maybe right now with this gear about 2 or 3 times. And 90% of that time, it's just making a stupid mistake. Sometimes you just gotta run away. For a lot of you guys, you're not gonna have the same gear here. You just, you will have to run away. You can give yourself a little bit of room. As you can see here, I didn't kill any of the normal mobs, but I still have a decent amount of room to kind of get out of the way. And then again, you see there where the marathon comes in. I can really get myself out of the Desecrator, out of the Plague if I really need to. Okay, so these guys don't have much health. I'll just continue the video here, reflecting the damage, bumping my cooldown here. Let's get a little bit more damage in there, and they should be down in a few seconds. Heal myself on occasion. Really, barely have to use pots unless there's a situation where I'm just not doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a tank. Okay, so we got more than a 5 stack now. So we got that was six guys total there. And you know what? We're about, say, half full here. That's not too bad for a good 20 minutes there. So let's go ahead and just identify what we have here. Okay. In fact, let me pull back into town. Okay, first thing we do, toss this stuff out. Toss the stuff we don't want. Go ahead and ID these here. No good. And of course, what you're going to get is most stuff that's just no good. Okay. So I'm eyeing that wand over there. It's a nice 63. That's no good. Okay. The point of the matter is that you're finding more magic items more quickly and more rares more quickly this way. So we're getting pretty good drop. We're getting 61, 62, 62, 63 here. You know, you can get magic find. That's probably not worth anything actually either. You can do magic find, but you know, you look at occasionally I get a 50, 50 or 52 there. But generally everything's 61 through 63 here. So the magic find is only going to increase the chance of these items dropping, but they already drop on the elites and the champions pretty well as it is, even without any magic find. Of course, I always want to keep my stack up there, but I haven't seen much of a difference in terms of magic find. I break down everything 61 through 63 that's not worth it. Obviously, right now you have to think about the ingredients, that the exquisite essence and the iridescent tears are going for about 1,200 to 1,300 total. Right now it's kind of low, so I break down everything that's kind of below that. Okay, just to show you here again, out of that group, which is about half of my inventory there, this is the amount that was not level 61 through 63. Okay, so again, just to reiterate the point that we're doing pretty good even without magic find. You don't have to worry too much about it, frankly. If you're doing this speed farming, you're picking up so many elites so quickly, you do not have to worry that much about magic find. Okay, and now we can just actually go over and, you know, I got a 5 stack. I was just purpose of this was just to show you the process here. And again, we selected kill Azmodan as the quest line there. So we can just go ahead and, with our 5 stack, run over to Azmodan, get a little bit more gear here. Okay. Again, as you can see, I have no fury right now, which is the slowest part of this entire process. All you have to do is kill one guy, you'll build up enough fury to get yourself moving again. And you can stand on these bombs here. They give you a little bit of fury sometimes. If you got the resistances for it, you'll be fine. Okay, so we're full stack. Let's just move past. Might encounter one pack of elites here. Again, we move past all these little guys. You try and orient yourself so you're not going to get blocked in. A little bit of lag there, which apparently the server can't keep up. I don't even go for the goblins. What I've seen, at least for Barbarian, and even groups, is, you know, maybe 10% of the time you'll actually be able to take care of a goblin. The rest of the time, you know, you just end up wasting your time, and you don't get anything. Well, you get stuff out of it if you can kill him, but most of the time you won't be able to. Okay. Okay, so we got a few guys here. Jailer. Shielding is one of the most annoying attributes for these guys when you happen to come across it, because it just slows everything down. But we can still plow through these guys pretty quickly. Okay, so that didn't take. I mean, actually, I realized you can see the time up there. So if you wanted to keep track of, well, how many minutes did it exactly take me to get these guys down, and then there you have it. Okay, so we pick up all the stuff that's a little bit more goods here. Let's go ahead and move on. Hopefully we won't encounter any more champions. I really just want to get here to Azmodan and go ahead and take him out. The Magic Find does help on Azmodan and bosses. I'm sure most of you guys probably know that. I have never gotten a single rare on a boss without Magic Find. So typically with a full stack, what I usually see is about three items on average, and it ranges anywhere between kind of 2 to 4 items. If you're really unlucky, you'll just end up with 2. Okay, skip all that stuff. And not much to show here. I'm going to skip pretty well through this fight. Probably come back at 1 or 2 points here. He really doesn't do any damage to me, except when I'm standing in his little, I don't know what you'd call it, his little pool attack, I guess. Okay, so I'll just pop my cooldowns, make sure I try and get him down pretty quick. Okay, so here he is doing his pool thing. I actually stand over to the side, face tanking him. I don't want to stand in multiple of these if I can avoid it. I don't know if they stack or not, but it's a nice place to do reflect damage, right? Because all that damage he's doing to you, it's just going right back to him. I do have to occasionally use a pot here, and I see that there's one that's dropped over there, so in fact I might do that soon. Yeah, I'll probably run over there. Just get that. Oops. Okay. That was close. So we made it through that. There's only one more here, and then we'll get him down. Okay, so here we are again, just about to take him down. And nice and easy there. Now I know you guys, a lot of you guys won't expect to really take him out, but I think that it can certainly be helpful, just this process itself. Let's go ahead and just pick up our stuff. Go back to town now, and I will show you finally kind of my gear here. And give you a little bit of background about how I got the gear and where I was at, in the beginning. So, okay, back in town here. As you can see, what that was probably about 5 minutes there, 10 minutes from the last time I sold all those items, and you can see I'm already half stacked. Actually, I've got some leftovers I forgot about there. But let's go ahead and identify these guys. Level 56. Fantastic. No matter how much magic find you have, even when I was doing with a guy who had 300, and so again it was split between the two of us, I was still getting level 50 items, just like I am now. So again, not much of a difference there. Not as much stuff here. I think Azmodan doesn't drop as good of stuff as what you will find off of the elites and off of the champions. In fact, it looks like absolutely nothing here. But that's okay, because it still sells, and you'll still make a good profit off of just selling the stuff and breaking it down. Okay, so I've got all those items sold. Now let's finally kind of take a look at the gear. I'm sure everybody's anxious to see the gear. Let me just go through a few seconds so you can see each piece. You are probably, a lot of you are going to think, well, I'm never going to be able to get that gear, but let me just go through and then tell you how I got this stuff. As you can see, I'm pretty much full tank spec'd here. The focus for the armor is just on strength, vitality, and also resist all, high resist all. Also, if you can get life on hit like this amulet, well, you'll be golden. Life on hit is what keeps you alive when you're not using revenge, and so it is very critical. Okay. And then my health here is at 73.3k, and this is actually with the Enchantress. So I'll go ahead and dismiss her just to show you everything. 73.3k health. I've got a damage of about 15k. And then armor is without her. It's 8.8. With her, it goes up to close to 10k, I think. Okay, and here are all the stats. Just show you very quickly. There's the top part, and there's the bottom part. And one thing that's really critical here for me is life on hit. Okay, I've got 1200 distributed. This is the highest gem that I have there, so that's doing most of the work there. Okay. So you'll probably think, well, how in the world did he get this gear? Um, I have not spent a single dime on any gear during my time. I've actually had this gear for about, I think, maybe 2 weeks, 1.5 to 2 weeks at this point. Prior to getting this gear that I have now, I had pretty decent gear. I was just I hadn't gotten any drops that were anything spectacular that would sell at the auction house. At that point, I was actually farming Act 2, just doing every single thing in Act 2, and I basically didn't have to use a pot. I wouldn't die. I was kind of at that point for Act 2. In terms of Act 3, I was able to do it. I would occasionally die more often than Act 2. I would have to use pots, and I would have to use a little more strategy when it came to facing elites and champions. Um, so during Act 2, a couple weeks ago, doing the full run at the very end, I was doing the full run with a 5 stack of Nephilim. At the very end, I picked up a Heaven Hand, which is the level 63 monk weapon, and I happened to have something that was very, very good. Just had all of the stats you would want on it. It had, and in fact, the stats I can rattle off really quickly here. 954 DPS, one-hander. It had attack speed, so that brought it to 1.55 attacks per second. It had plus 148 dexterity on it. It had plus 98% critical damage on it as well, and it also had an empty socket, so it was pretty much an endgame monk weapon. That weapon, in fact, it actually dropped at the same time as this shield. I kept this shield when I identified it. Obviously, I knew it was the top shield in the game. When I identified it, I got lucky. You can see it has the maximum resist all, 70. It also has the maximum block chance of 32%. I just got very lucky on that one. But again, this shield and that monk weapon dropped in the same inventory stack, so in the same group when I went to right at the end of Act 2. And a lot of you guys can do Act 2, and you know it's pretty easy if you've got reasonably good gear. So you can clearly, all it takes is one item, and that monk weapon, when I sold it, I sold it for 368 million. Somebody bought it in the last few seconds of the bid auction. I just got very, very lucky, and that bought all of the rest of this gear, essentially all this end game gear. I was able to get that with that amount. Now, of course, you're probably cringing and saying, "Oh, do you know how much money you could have gotten if you'd sold that gold?" Yeah, I do. About $800 to $900 minimum. But this was actually way before the real money auction, so maybe it was maybe it was further back than what I've been saying here. So I went ahead and invested it in this gear, and you can clearly see that it's worked out. Okay, guys, well, I think that is it. This is actually my first YouTube video. Again, the reason that I'm doing this is just to show people if anyone's interested. I'm not expecting very much reception when it comes to this video. I think there's thousands and thousands of videos out there. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If there is any interest, you can message me in game or ask me if I can make a video of something else. All right, take care, guys.